Hi crafty friends, I'm so excited and happy that you're here. If you're new to my channel, my name is Marlene and welcome. So let's get started. I want to attempt to do today, as much as I can, a little tour of my crafting studio, the area that I like to call my creative space. I'm going to start with this room, which is like the entrance to the actual craft studio. It's the old mud room of this house. This is an old little cottage home that we've been able to renovate, and that has allowed me to carve my own little space, so I'm very happy about that. So let's get started. I'm going to just kind of do like a walk around briefly. It'll probably be a couple of videos, and then if you want any more in-depth, just let me know and I'll be happy to open a drawer or a cabinet and show you how I store and how I do things. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the mud room, which my room has kind of spilled out to this area, and if I let it, it'll spill out throughout the house. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I like watching craft room tours and studio tours because they inspire me and I pick up a lot of ideas, and I hope that I can inspire you somehow, and maybe you can pick up a little something that you like how I did it. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so this little area right here is kind of like my area, and I have these baskets full of all kinds of goodies and this little stool that I covered. And then along this wall, and you're going to see a lot of things throughout. I can't point them out. They're not all my stuff. A lot of the things I have in my room are from my friends that have gifted me all kinds of things, and I can't put them all out at the same time, but I do take turns and I put some out and then I put some in. And so a lot of the pretty things that you're going to see, they're not all mine. You're going to see my friends and their energy all over my place. Okay, so let's get started. I had no place to put this little bulletin board that I did a few years back. I was going to originally put it on my sewing area, but you will see that area soon, and I can't put it there at all. So I have it here. My laundry room is directly behind me. It's the laundry area, which is all closed, which is good because that way I don't have to see the washing machine. So I try to make the entrance to this mudroom area kind of pretty because I got to walk through here a lot, not only to the laundry, but to get to my room. Oh, and I have plenty of light everywhere. That's so important to me. Okay, first of all, here I have this piece of furniture. This used to be a really large piece of furniture, and it used to hold my TV back then, you know, when we had the big square TVs. And since I can't throw anything away and I refuse to buy new things when there's so many gorgeous old things we can flip, I cut the bottom off, I put these legs on, and I use it for storage. And believe it or not, what I store in here are my plant fertilizers. I don't use a lot of chemicals, but I do have some plant fertilizer and some sterile seeds, dirt, and anything to do with my garden. I kind of store in here that I don't want to keep in the shed so it's not hot, so that it won't get hot. But anyway, on top of this furniture, all these pretty boxes have spilled out, and I have labeled everything. I am the kind of person that I'm very visual. Some people are not. They cannot have all this stuff out. It drives them nuts. My sister's like that. I have to have things out because they inspire me. Color inspires me. Things that other people do inspire me. So I have to have things out. They have to be kind of organized, but I have to see them. And also, I don't know what I have if I can't see them. So everything that I try to store. If I have to look at it, might as well store it in a pretty way. So I stored them in these boxes, and I've made like little cute little labels for them, and everything's labeled, and I know what it is in the bag. And that's how I think my friend Evelyn made me that card. Isn't it pretty? So anyway, these are some of my spillover boxes and stuff. And here's my pretty spa lady. She reminds me of my profession that I've done forever. So I keep her here as a reminder of who I am. And anyway, yep, this is how I store. This is where I keep a lot of my laces and trims and some of my ribbons. And guys, I have destashed a lot. And there's a system to how I keep things in there. If that's something you think you want to see, let me know. And I'll open a few up and show you. So this is it. This is the door where you come in. My kitchen is right behind, directly behind this door is my kitchen. This is where I come in, where you come in through to this room. Okay, this is an area that I am so proud of, and I'm going to look for a picture and I'm going to try to put it somewhere here in the screen. But this is a little dead space that's right behind the door. It was just a space there, and I'm like, oh no, that's prime real estate in a small house. So I am so proud I built this little shelf by myself. I mean, I didn't do it like the real carpenter way. I use a lot of L brackets, which they don't look kind of pretty. You can't hardly tell with all that stuff there anyway, but it holds tons of stuff and I love it. So this is where I have chosen, because I didn't have a designated area, this is where I have chosen to keep all my ephemera, vintage books, and things like that that I use to make my journals. This pretty box on the bottom I found junking around. You're going to see a lot of stuff I found junking around. And here I keep my books by categories, Christmas, fall, Easter, and so forth. These are, here I keep my musical stuff, musical paper and things like that. This is my cooking, and I found these books not too long ago. I'm so happy about that. My cooking and garden book inspired. These are a lot of my children's book, which I love. This shelves holds everything that I have to tea dye, like all this stuff I'm planning on tea dyeing outside. So I just, as I find stuff, I'll put in there. And this is an awesome system that has worked for me, and it's amazing. And if you want me to do a video on that, let me know and I'll do one on that. This is how I store my stamps. I have unmounted lots of my stamps, and I've gotten rid of all my stamps that were wooden stamps, except for some that I have on display. I just like looking at them. But I would say 80% of my stamps, 90% of my stamps are all in here. And if I didn't have the system, I would not be able to store and keep this much. And I'm never going to get rid of these because I love them. And sometimes I use them. And up here are just more vintage books. Okay. And this little room is very handy because it, first of all, it faces my little courtyard area outside in my garden, which I love. I get a lot of light in here. This little desk is a junking find that my sister found and she let me have. It was a mess. I fixed it up. I cleaned it, distressed it, put new knobs. And I used plain old fence boards from a fence, and I stained them, and that's my top board. And this desk is where I do all my mailing. My mailing station, my mailing supplies and everything are in this closet. And I also keep in that closet more gift wrapping and my printer. My printer's in there. So when I open the closet, I have a little cover for my printer so it doesn't get dusty. I take the cover off, and then I can spread out in here, and I do my sorting and everything in here. And usually on top of my desk, I keep as a motivation the magazines that I've been published in, not to show off about it or anything. It's a very personal thing, and this means a lot to me because it keeps me motivated and it keeps me wanting to create new things and kind of keeps me going. Not that I need, justification or be published or anything for me to create, but it's nice to know that you're recognized. So, and that goes to also to another point, that you don't need an area like that, like I'm about to show you, to create and be creative. Most of the stuff that I did in here was done from my 6x6 little room back in Miami next to my laundry area. My best work came out of that little area. So you don't need a fancy big room. You don't need all the stuff. You don't need to, you got to just carve a little area for you. Make it your own. It's, everybody's off that area. It's your own. It can be a little, I had a tiny little desk about this big with a shelf on top and then another little shelf on the side. And that's all. And I think I did some of my prettiest and best work out of that area. So that just goes to show you, again, you don't need a fancy area. You don't need big things. You don't need tons of supplies. There's just so much that we can recycle and upcycle and work with that, you can just create without really buying much of anything anyway. So anyway, to go on, here I store in this little basket, I keep my favorite that I want to keep handy, like vintage wallpapers and stuff. I keep them in here. So let me give you once over. My craft area studio is like right behind my back. So yeah, this is the old mud room, and you see the ceiling is all planked and it's real.